Hey guys, um, listen, in our industry, you either know someone or you have personally experienced Agile gone wrong. Yeah, I know you're out there. And the reason is that many of our clients come to us, Serious Labs, begging for help after they have failed Agile once or twice. Would it be bragging if I said that our biggest client is one of the world's largest transformation consulting companies, and we are an extended team for them, and our next two speakers are driving that effort? Oh, I don't know if it would be bragging. Would it be bragging if I said Cirrus Labs is a key partner for DevOps and SecOps and innovation for the US Air Force's innovation team? Oh, I don't know if that would be bragging. Listen, I'll make it easy for you to understand why you need to pay attention for the next 30 plus minutes. If you want to win a Super Bowl, who do you recruit? Tom Brady and Gronk, of course. So, as part of the Cirrus Labs roster of rock stars, I'm proud to introduce the Tom Brady and Gronk of agility, Johnny and Brandon. And I'm going to let them figure out who's who.
I'm Tom Brady, and this is Gronk. I assume you guys can hear us okay. I'm Johnny Golson, and you can see Brandon up there. At least on my screen, he's above me. He is taller, and I just wanted to show that this is Agile in your pajamas. Introduction to Agile in your pajamas. I'm wearing my pajamas. Okay, these are my actually dress pajamas that I wear when I do my calls daily. And Brandon, I see, just got out of prison. He's wearing his prison pajamas.
Johnny, only you would have dress pajamas. Yes, I'm wearing my, these are my silky pajamas. They're very comfortable. I even have my pajama bottoms with me today.
Yeah, so do not stand up, Brandon, please, if that's okay. So listen, this has been a great growth mindset virtual conference so far. It's been fantastic. I've loved listening to the speakers, and the digital shell. I'm so happy to finally meet the digital shell because he's so much better looking than the original shell. I just want to call that out. And just so you know, for many years, I've worked with other shells before from his part of the world, and none of them ever corrected me when I called him K-gel. And so finally, when I met this shell, he helped me out here. So anyway, so let me just introduce ourselves. You guys saw our bios. So I'm the director of agility for Cirrus Labs, and Brandon and I have been working together for many years. Been in the agile space for many years as well. And my job, I can tell you, is one of the funnest things that you'll ever have to do. I work with some fantastic people. I get real excited and passionate about what we do. And Cirrus Labs is right in the middle of it. And so we're very excited to be here to present to you guys today. So I'll shut up and let Brandon talk. We do talk a lot, just so you know. We're coaches. Go.
Hey, I'm Brandon Call. I'm also very happy to be here. Happy to share with you guys some of the things that we've learned over the years and some of our experiences. We've been doing this for a long time, so very excited to be here and share it with you. And that's all. That's all I've got. Sorry.
All right. No worries. Well, that's very rare for Brandon to not speak as much. But anyway, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to share my presentation here. Let's see how this works. Let's just see. I don't know if we're going to be as wonderful as Shell's presentation. I don't have any videos to show, but let me know. So I guess, yeah, wow, how cool is that? All right, so let me just do the presentation thing here as soon as I can figure out how to work my screen. Okay, so hopefully, yeah, look at that. All right, so our subject is one that is very near and dear to all of our hearts, I would imagine right now. This is not going to teach you Agile. This is not the presentation. But what we are going to talk about is something that that is near and dear to our hearts. Right now, in the middle of this pandemic, we've had to change our behavior. So first of all, I guarantee you that 80% of you are actually in your pajamas right now. Now, I saw the other, we saw the other presenters, and they've got on, jackets and nice shirts. I guarantee you they're in shorts. Or are they
Or
in their
worse.
pajamas? or worse, please don't say worse. And that's just the way we do this, right? So I wish we could do just a quick survey. I actually have some data that I'm going to show on the next slide. But I would love to ask, who on this call, this live stream, and the presenters are actually in their pajamas right now. I guarantee you it's a pretty big number. Actually, Shell was kind enough to share with us some of that detail. And so this guy, one of Shell's buddies, did a survey. Where are you working today? I'm 100% remote. At 84%, I'm hybrid office home. 7%, I'm back in the office. 9%. So that 84%, however many that is, I would imagine it's a large number of people that are actually working from home, and they've had to adjust to the change in the way we do things. But I will tell you, in the Agile world, it's a new normal for the rest of the world, but not for Agile teams. We have been working remote, and we have been working in environments where we're used to being remote for many, many years, right? And it's so for us, we've got teams that are spread out all over the globe. We've got teams that are in India. We've got teams in different parts of the world. Yes, even we have teams from where Shell's from, Germany. And no, I'm just kidding. He's going to hate me for that later. But seriously though, we've been remote for a long time, and the reason why we were able to do that so quickly when we had this pandemic is that we were already set up to succeed in that space. And I know Brandon's got some other examples of that. So Brandon, I don't want to do all the talkings because I can, but talk about some of the times that you have had to work remote with the team, and how did that work out for you?
A lot of times it's because there's geographical separation between team members, people living in different time zones, things like that. But I've got to tell you, one of the most effective experiences that I had with one of my teams was we were all pretty much in the same area, except, some people would be working from home on certain days or things like that. And we got used to video conferencing and just having everybody's picture up on our screen so much that we would sometimes forget if someone was working from home or not, because it was just so easy to contact them and reach out to them over video. And we kind of had live video up on the screens all day long, and people could mute themselves and they could turn off their camera if they needed to, do something embarrassing or whatever. But it's very effective to, if you cannot be in person and sitting close to each other and kind of in the same group, to take advantage of the technology and really share what you're doing with others through video conferencing. So it's a fantastic tool. It's not living on the moon, but they do use it to communicate with the International Space Station. So we're close.
Yeah, we are close. So in this presentation for the next 27 minutes now or less, which, by the way, Brandon, you're supposed to be keeping time. So hopefully you have a German-made clock sitting there in front of you like Shell's. But we're going to give you guys some ideas on some things that you can do to make this work. And we'll talk through that. But one of the reasons why organizations would adopt Agile, and this screenshot here that you see. So every year there's many different organizations.
Flip your presentation into presentation mode, I think.
I thought I did that. Am I not in presentation mode?
No, I think we're seeing the presenter mode.
Oh, well, then that means it's on the wrong screen. Hell, I don't know how to work this damn thing. This is here. Let's try something different. How about we just leave it like that? How about that? I'm gonna do what Shell does. I'll do what Shell does. But anyway, I don't care if you see what's coming next. It should be no surprise. But anyway, when they do this State of the Agile survey, they ask a lot of IT folks, typically CIOs and directors of IT, why did they adopt Agile, or what is the reason why they want to adopt Agile? And these are typically the top 10 or 12 or 13. I never did count them reasons. And if you'll notice, one of those primary reasons is to better manage distributed teams. And what that means is that an Agile way of working, a lean way of working, is to set yourselves up for success no matter where your team is. You know, Brandon and I, in our coaching experience, a human interaction, of course, is the best possible way to work together, but it's not always possible. And so Agile teams have been poised for working from home for quite a long time because of that. And it's the 12 steps. So Brandon is going to talk about these 2 important Agile steps out of the 12, why this is important. So ready to go.
All right. Yeah. A couple of the Agile principles are very, very important. And one of those is working with the business and our customers every day. Now, does it have to be every single day? No, not really. But the more frequently we interact with other people, especially the people for whom we're building things, the better off we're going to be, the more success we're going to have. And the reason for that is because we get to close short feedback loops very quickly. If we are working with people and showing them what is being accomplished as we go along, it's very, very effective to say, hey, take a look at this. Tell us what you think. And they say, oh, yeah, that's right on. Perfect. Or they say, no, that's not quite what we were looking for. Or what about if we changed it in this way? And a lot of times people don't know what they want until they've seen something. Once they see something, they've usually got an opinion about whether it's right or wrong or whether it could be made better. So we got to take advantage of that fact as much as possible and get some great feedback. So not only that, but it helps us develop our relationship with those people. So when we have business people and developers working together throughout the project or throughout the effort that we're going to, it's a fantastic way for us to get the good results out that we're looking for. One of the other Agile principles that's not on this slide is that we welcome change even late in the process. So as we receive those changes, we'll be able to adapt to them and be able to make the product better than it was ever going to be in the first place. The second principle is building projects around motivated individuals. And this is all about giving people, empowering them and giving them the tools and technologies that they need to be able to get the job done, and then trusting them to get the job done. So as we do this, as we give people this ability to collaborate and really work together effectively through the use of these technologies that we've got, and then if we give them the autonomy to be able to do the right things, because the people on the ground are typically the ones who have the most knowledge anyway and are the ones who can come up with the best outcomes, we really set them up for success. And that's what this is really all about, is trying to give them the best possibility of success possible.
Absolutely. And the key factor in all of this, and I heard one of the speakers say it, I wish I could recall which one it was, but we're not working with widgets, right? We are working with human beings. We are all people. And so teams, whether they're agile or not agile teams, will only work better if they get to know each other. So as coaches, we talk about this all the time as we're helping teams mature in agility. It's all about relationships. So teams work better when they get to know each other. They work better when they understand each other's strengths, each other's opportunities for improvement, and staying connected is very, very important to maintaining those relationships. In fact, in some cases, it's more important for the teams to have a good relationship than it is to code well, for example. Of course, we want people to develop and be good coders and so on and so forth. But I've been on teams where they didn't have good relationships, and the quality of what they were doing went down. The output and the value that they were bringing were subjected to those bad relationships. And so as agile coaches and as an agile team, we always want to try to stay connected. So how do we do that? So what are some of the ways that we've done this? In fact, this virtual conference is one of those ways. Virtual team building, we do that in all kinds of different forms. We have virtual happy hours, so Brandon and I always have our cameras on. I always have to be careful, what I'm wearing. There's so many great examples that I can give where things didn't turn out so well when you have your camera on. So first of all, when you have to look at Shell on occasion, if he doesn't have his Viking helmet on, it can be really scary.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. So just recently, I was working with a team, and we were doing, it was a 2-hour sprint planning session, and the Scrum Master, I was just there as an observer. The Scrum Master was talking, and everybody had their cameras on. And this one gentleman, he muted himself, and he's got, I see all the people on the screen, and he gets up and he turns around and he's walking back, going somewhere, and he turns where he's going into the bathroom. We found out, but he didn't realize his camera was on, or he forgot that his camera was on. And so, when you're going to the restaurant, I don't know about the rest of you, but you get ready. You're just ready to go. You start to drop your pants. Well, he started to drop his pants a little bit too early, and it was a butt crack that you can't unsee. So part of the virtual team building, virtual happy hours, face-to-face video conferencing, staying connected is to make sure you know how to use your camera, make sure you know how to turn it off. That's just a cautionary tale. So staying connected. So there's so many different ways to do this. Brandon, I'll let you go ahead and share some of the ways that you've done, some of the ideas that you've used to stay connected with your teams.
Yeah, well, the virtual happy hours are always really a lot of fun. I don't know if anybody in our audience has taken advantage of this idea, but a lot of times we lost the opportunity to get together in person over the last year because of COVID and everything. But having a virtual happy hour is a fantastic way to lighten the mood, get to know each other a little bit better. As Johnny talked about in the previous slide, having a relationship of trust with the members of your team is absolutely crucial. It's very, very important. Only when you have that kind of relationship can you say, hey, I'm stuck, I need help. Only when you have that relationship can you say, I messed up and I didn't get done what I wanted to get done yesterday because I followed the wrong path for a while and it took me too long and now I've got to make up for it. So we really need to have that relationship, but having a virtual happy hour, having the ability to get together on camera where everything isn't so serious and it's not a meeting is a fantastic way to go. Obviously, everyone provides their own drink and that type of thing. But it's a fantastic way to go. And one of the other fun activities that I've seen people do over camera is just get together and have just a weird theme. It might be weird hats, and everybody puts on a weird hat or a crazy hat and comes together. I've heard about people, I haven't seen this one myself, but I've heard about people doing a Wednesday don't get ready day, and you can show up, straight out of bed with your hair messy, and people will have half their face covered in shaving cream and things like that. There's a lot of great ways to build some rapport with our team members and share with them and be able to have an excellent experience that helps people to come together as a team and really establish that relationship of trust.
Yeah, so there's so many different ways, as Brandon mentioned. So I think the key here is to do something fun, do something, get the team out of their space and try to have fun. And I've given you just a couple of examples here that I love to do. This is I'm not trying to sell WeConnect cards, but if you go to that site, you can definitely order some. I love these cards. It's basically different questions that you can ask each other. All right. And so one of them is, what would your closest friend say is your best character trait? And then the discussion that you have after that, or the person can choose to do an exercise, right? They can stand up and twirl their hands in the air. And this is just one great example of things to do. One team that I worked with, we wrote haikus preparing for the virtual happy hour. And what I did when I took those haikus that they presented, and we put them together in a book. And that was over a year ago, and I still have people remembering that as a very poignant time that they had, because some of these haikus were really good. I just gave an example of one there that I wrote. I'm definitely not a professional haiku writer, but that's just one I did. But the point is that get them out of their space, find something fun that they can connect with, and they will do it. Your team will jump in, and it's about having fun. And I forgot to mention this early in the process. If you haven't noticed, Brandon and I love to have fun. What I've learned over years and years of coaching teams, Yes, you can be the best developers and you can be the best business analysts, the best AI guys, girls, whatever. But if you're not having fun, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. And I have no problem coaching and mentoring people and telling them that very thing. Johnny, why are you so passionate about coaching? Because I'm having fun. This is a blast. I love doing this. And so part of the virtual happy hour, part of keeping connected is to make sure you have fun. And you can probably tell Shell likes to have fun too. And nobody picks on him because he doesn't have any hair. It's perfectly okay. I know that's a hard thing to sell, but I'm working on it too. I'm trying to Shell is my mentor about losing the hair part. So anyway, so I know that we're running out of time. We're getting close to the end. So we'd love to open it up for questions. However it is we can do that. If somebody can
Johnny,
help me do that.
I think before we do that,
Yeah.
I think we should have a haiku off. I think you should read your haiku and then I'll read your haiku and we could figure out who does a better job presenting your haiku.
All right. So one of the things I learned, I grew up overseas. I grew up in Japan, and I was my major in college while I was in Japan was international business, but I minored in Japanese art history. And so one of the things I learned is that haiku is not just about poetry. It's about rhythm, it's about sound, and it's about art. And so typically the syllables would be 5 in the first line, 7 in the second line, and then 5 in the last line. And that's not always true because it's meant to be in Japanese in language, and it would be more of the sounds that it makes, right? So I'll read this one that I wrote, but I will try to use the haiku version, right? Still water larva, mosquitoes in the making. My skin itches now. Beat that one. Go, Brandon. You read it again.
All right. Give me a second here.
Now you're cooking.
Still water. Larva. Mosquitoes in the making. My skin itches now.
That was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. In fact, I'm sure we have some agents here or some recruiters here looking for poetry readers, and you definitely you could do that. That was very, very good, very inspiring. In fact, it brought a tear to my eye. It was so wonderful. Thank you so much. So anyway, so I guess we can take questions. So before we get into the question, I just want to say thank you guys for listening. This has been great to be here. Brandon and I, we do a weekly podcast called Agile Chat. So if you would love to hear some of those things and just a little bit more of the way we banter, of course, we get serious and we do talk about Agile. You're welcome to visit cirruslabs.io/Agile. And we will be happy to work with you with an Agile transformation or coaching or teaching, certifications, those types of things. We're there for you as well. So anyway, so I guess, so Simon, hey, we're open for questions. Does anybody care to ask? You want to learn how to write a haiku? You can ask me that. I'll be happy to help you.
Hey guys. Yeah, listen, my haiku is knives, guns, and whiskey. Go.
Is
Nice.
that we're supposed to come up with something?
Now hey Shell, I wanted you to notice I wore a black shirt today because I did get the memo about the Black Shirt Day.
You did good. You did good. Listen, I'll kick it off because why do you guys think Agile fails so often?
Because, well, there's a lot of reasons, but I think the biggest reason, my opinion, is people are not really connected. The relationships aren't there. So for example, I've done Agile transformations with leaders who were more focused on the command and control type of environment. They didn't really understand and care that much about relationships. And then I've been with in Agile. If we were doing a transformation, it either took a lot longer or it just failed. And then on the other side, I've been with organizations where the leaders were resonant leaders, transformational leaders They cared about their people. They cared about relationships. And the Agile transformation was doomed to succeed because of that behavior. So to me, it's relationships. It's about being connected, because you can be the smartest people on the planet. And there's some very smart people that are on this conference today, for example. Okay. But I could tell when you hear them speak that they care about each other. They care about relationships. They care about being successful. That would be my answer. Yeah,
that's certainly true. I agree with that 100%. I think one of the other reasons, besides people just not wanting to let go of the control, is mindset, and really needing to have a mindset, which Agile is really a mindset and a philosophy much more than it is anything else. We have to be looking for continual evolutionary change. We have to be looking at getting better every day. If we're not, we're gonna run into problems. And sometimes the shift to that mindset is too difficult for people to wrap their heads around, or they're just not willing to do it completely and allow for that level of change to occur. So that's probably a big one for me. There's a lot of other reasons. I've seen transformations fail because they were funded the wrong way. I've seen transformations fail because leadership didn't exemplify what we were trying to do, or because there wasn't full support or buy-in from leadership. So there's a lot of different reasons, but it is very common, like you said, Shel, for them to fail or to get bogged down in something else. Johnny and I have recently been on a program where the leadership of the group who was running the Agile transformation kind of got in the way. So there's lots of different reasons why those kinds of things can happen.
Yeah. Do you guys feel like you still have to sell Agile to senior management these days, or is it a given that everyone gets it and it's just a matter of, can you start on Monday helping us?
Everyone wants it. Everyone wants it to work, but it's not a magic bullet. You have to earn your way into it. And so what I think we end up doing is trying to convince people to do it the right way and do it with the right attitude and the right mindset is the trickier part.
Okay. Great.
So I see a question coming in. How do you start right now to help your team? One of the things that I would say, and like Johnny said, there's a lot of people, and in our situation today where we're remote, there's a lot of things going on that are impeding us from being present with each other. But I think, like Johnny said, just turn on your camera. I'm on a lot of video conferences each day where I'm the only person with my camera on, and I think that it helps other people. This morning I was on one, and after I turned my camera on, 3 other people turned their camera on. So I think it's about being an example a lot of times and helping people to just kind of show off what should be happening and then exemplify that and let other people join in after. What would you say, Johnny?
Well, just this morning, similar situation. I turned my camera on. I showed off my pajamas, and several other people turned their camera on. They wanted to show off their pajamas. So why is the camera so important, right? So if we're sitting across the room from each other, obviously we can see each other unless we're blind. But how do you know that people are engaged if the camera's not on? Okay, how do you know they're not just they're just not even there? They're not present, right? Yeah. But when people's cameras are on, it's amazing. They're actually sitting up. They're looking at the camera. They're paying attention to what you're saying. It's very important to it just helps and enhances the connectedness that we're trying to get. One of our goals for a mature Agile team and a high performing team is to stay connected. And so having the camera on works well.
Nice. Yeah, I totally agree. So last though, what's the best client experience you had when implementing Agile? Like, call it a wow moment, like where you go, man, these guys are listening and, I can't believe they're moving that fast, or whatever it is. You don't have to mention the client name.
Yeah, so I'll take that one, Brandon, and it's the one that he and I actually met during this engagement. I won't mention their names, but let's just say they are a network hardware provider, and they're very, very large. Is that a beer you're drinking there, Digital Viking? I'm just curious. Anyway, no. So this organization was a command and control organization out of the gate. And they had leadership that said the words. They said, yes, we need to be agile. It's the buzz, it's what's happening. We need to do it. But they didn't really understand what it was all about. Once we got in there and worked at the team level, the aha moment came when a product owner who had been a command and control guy from the get-go realized that every iteration they were delivering more value than they had ever done before. And it was an organized way. The team was engaged. They were innovative. All these new ideas were coming to the table, and that was the aha moment that they had. And so then the leader of the organization was brought in late in the process, but they looked and they saw this and they said, "Wow!" So they brought everybody in the room, and he fired the entire company. He said, "You're fired." And everybody was like, "What?" And I heard one of the speakers talk about attrition. It happens when you do a digital transformation. And this was this happened there as well. And so at the end of the conversation, he hired everybody back. But he said, look, we are no longer going to do things the way we were doing it. We're going to be agile. We're going to be lean. And so Monday, when you show up for work, it's a new company. And that's exactly what happened. And about 30% of the company left. And here's why they left. He said, you're going to play a role. You're either a product owner, a scrum master, or a team member. And these people who had been senior vice presidents and senior directors and all that, some of them quit because they didn't want to lose that title. They didn't lose their pay. The pay didn't change. It's just that their title changed. But what was left? What was left was a group of people that wanted to bring value. And so, and that was the aha moment for us. And Brandon was there as well during that exciting time too. So anyway,
right.
That help?
Well, I think thank you. I think questions are pouring in. So we'll take one more. In the series labs, you guys can read it, right? Could you explain the difference between extreme programming and Scrum?
Yeah, extreme programming is much more extreme than Scrum. That's the only difference. No, I'm just kidding. That's a good question, Melvin. And the difference is that Scrum and extreme programming and Kanban and Lean and many other things are all part of different approaches within the Agile umbrella. Extreme programming has some specific practices that it uses, like paired programming and refactoring and things like that are very common to just extreme programming. And Scrum has its own set of practices, like limiting work through a 2-week cycle called a sprint, and having 3 roles called out. And so there's slightly different approaches to accomplishing the same thing. What Agile is all about is delivering value to the customer early and often. And there's different ways to do that. And so the different approaches are like extreme programming and Scrum and Kanban and Scrumban and all those are different ways to accomplish the same thing. And sometimes the work determines which approach works best. And sometimes where the people are in their journey determines what process works best. But they're basically just 2 different approaches to getting the work done. So
okay.
Good question.
Well, since they're popping in here, here's another one. So let's take another minute. You guys can see it. Don, it's for you.
Yeah, it's easy to initiate change and start a new project. But what's the secret? Is there one to lasting change? I would say, first of all, there's no secret, really. In fact, once you start learning the Agile principles and practices, you'll see that they're very, very commonsensical. They actually start to make sense to a team about doing things in the most efficient and most lean way. So what is the secret sauce? Well, the secret sauce, I've said it several times, it's relationships. It's about getting this team to know each other, getting this team to, and the leaders of the organization just get out of their way. Give them the tools they want to succeed and get out of their way. Let the team organize themselves around the work, whether they use Scrum or XP or Kanban or whatever the method is, whatever works for them. And as long as they can do that autonomously and be innovative and organize themselves around the work, that to me would be the secret sauce.
Right.
Would just let them organize around it.
That's awesome. All right, guys, we got to wrap it up. But thank you to Tom and Gronk for a great session.
Here's my pass.
Jimmy Fallon, better look out. These guys are thinking about starting a late night show or produce a movie. I can see it now. 50 Shades of Agile.
Oh, Lord.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
Listen, guys, Johnny and Brandon, thank you so much. And we're going to play a short video, and then we're going to have the next speaker. So the video is all about you guys.
Thanks, KJL. Appreciate it, man.